The ex-boyfriend of Real Housewives of Orange County star Shannon Beador is denying that the money he provided her for a facelift was a gift. Not only that, but he is doing all of this in the courtroom. Regarding the cash that was given to her, what exactly is he saying, and how quickly would he like them to be returned to him? Continue reading for further information. ROC, the ex-girlfriend of Shannon Beador, is contesting facelift gifts in court. A difficult year has been experienced by Shannon Beador as a result of her breakup with her lover, John Jansen. Over the course of several years, the couple had been together, but she insisted that he was a very private person. Because of this, she did not want to air their dirty laundry on the show. This was an additional objection. She ended up getting arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol and hit and run after they split ways. During the time that she was attending doctor's appointments and other appointments, John was by her side. His new girlfriend, Alexis Bellino, who had previously appeared on Real Housewives of Orange County, however, shook Shannon to her core. Alexis made a public display of their relationship, and they were not in the least bit subdued. In contrast to Shannon's portrayal of John as a solitary individual, this presented John in a completely different light. After leaving Real Housewives of Orange County at the conclusion of Season 8, Alexis was quickly recruited back to the show for Season 18. This indicated that the two women were going to compete against one another. However, while everything was going on, John had something he wanted from Shannon, and that was the $75,000 that he had loaned her. He claims that he gave her money for a facelift, and now he wants it back. He is demanding her money back. At the same time, she insists that it was a present on every occasion. As stated by In Touch Weekly, John initiated the legal action against Shannon Beador in the month of March in the year 2024. A breach of contract and promissory fraud were the allegations that he made against the reality personality. She told John that she wanted a facelift, so she borrowed $40,000 from him through a wire transfer, and then wrote her a personal check for $35,000. Following the filing of the lawsuit, Shannon reported that she was taken aback and insisted that this was a gift. Currently, the case has been modified in order to handle the concept of a gift. When the defendant made her false promises and representations, she was aware that she did not plan to pay for the services that she had promised. The subsequent activities of the defendant have made it abundantly evident that the defendant's pledges were falsified, and that she never meant to follow through on her promises. This is despite the fact that the defendant had promised to repay both loans. As an illustration, the defendant is currently claiming that the loans were a gift from Mr. Jansen, which is an assertion that is absolutely incorrect. This is done in an effort to escape her obligations to return the loans. Where does John's desire come from? In the beginning, John Jansen desired to receive the $75,000 back, along with interest. Today, that is no longer the case, and he is looking for more from Shannon Beador. The money, interest, and reasonable solicitor's fees, to the fullest extent permitted by law, are all things that he has required from the court. It is currently unknown whether or not viewers will be able to watch the drama around this lawsuit play out on the upcoming season of Real Housewives of Orange County. On the other hand, John was under the impression that Shannon had never intended to repay him for the money in the first place whatsoever. In spite of John's refusal to acknowledge that it was a present, do you think that it was a gift? Alternately, due to the fact that Shannon is sad about the split, she does not want to pay up. On July 11th, the debut of the 18th season of Real Housewives of Orange County will air on Bravo. The Real Housewives of Orange County cast is never short on drama, but Shannon Beador's latest chapter has more to do with lawyers than wine nights. In a surprising courtroom twist, Shannon's ex, John Jansen, is reportedly disputing claims that he ever gifted her cosmetic surgery during their relationship, specifically a facelift that Shannon herself had hinted was part of her post-breakup glow-up. Now, what should have been private chatter between exes is becoming part of a public legal narrative, leaving fans debating, is this about hurt pride, money, or the truth? From romance to resentment. Shannon and John's whirlwind romance was one that RHOC viewers rooted for, at least at first. After her tumultuous divorce from David Beador, fans thought Shannon had finally found someone who brought stability to her life. But as Bravo watchers know, relationships in Orange County rarely last as long as the sunsets they toast with rosé. By late 2022, cracks began to show. Shannon confided in castmates that John was pulling away, while tabloids buzzed with stories of disagreements over finances, family boundaries, and her ever-growing involvement with the show. The final breakup came with no shortage of emotional fallout. Shannon tearfully admitted she was blindsided, while John attempted to keep things private. That silence, however, has ended in a courtroom where gift-giving has taken center stage. The facelift controversy. Shannon has been open in the past about dabbling with cosmetic enhancements, from fillers to non-invasive treatments. But when she showed off a noticeably tightened jawline and refreshed look earlier this year, whispers of a facelift began to circulate. During a Candid Girls Night on RHOC, Shannon quipped that John had been generous with helping her look and feel her best. To some, it was a throwaway line. To others, it was clear insinuation that John had footed the bill for her surgical transformation. Now, John is firing back, and hard. Court filings connected to their financial disputes reveal John's insistence that he never gifted nor financed any surgical procedures for Shannon. His lawyers argue that such claims paint him as lavish and irresponsible, and he's demanding the record be set straight. A matter of reputation. On the surface, the fight might seem like a petty he said, she said over a facelift. But in Orange County society, and particularly among the Real Housewives, reputation is everything. For John, being associated with funding facelifts feeds into a narrative he has long rejected, that he was Shannon's wallet more than her partner. Insiders claim John resents being depicted as a wealthy man who showers women with luxury perks, preferring to highlight his business acumen and desire for genuine connection. For Shannon, however, the suggestion that John didn't support her financially could undermine her storyline as a woman who rebuilt her confidence post-divorce. Whether intentional or not, the facelift saga has become symbolic of who had the upper hand in their relationship. The Bravo spin. Bravo producers, of course, are not letting this courtroom drama slip by. The timing couldn't be better. Cameras are rolling for the next season of RHOC, and Shannon's facelift fallout is already being teased as a major plot point. Castmate Emily Simpson reportedly joked during filming that half of Orange County has had a facelift funded by a man, sparking laughter but also highlighting just how common these kinds of arrangements can be in their social circle. Heather Dubrow, never shy about luxury spending, allegedly told Shannon to own it instead of getting caught in a he said, she said battle. But Shannon, who has always walked a fine line between vulnerability and defensiveness, seems determined to clear the air on her terms. Insiders say she plans to use her confessionals to set the record straight, but fans are bracing for whether her version of the truth will match John's. Fans weigh in. Online, Bravo fans are divided. On Reddit, some argue that Shannon should be allowed to enjoy a facelift without needing to credit anyone but her doctor, while others accuse her of using John's name for storyline value. One commenter summed it up bluntly. Either he paid for it or he didn't. But why are we fighting about a facelift like custody of a child? Yet others see the deeper layers. Shannon has always been scrutinized for how she funds her lifestyle. From her divorce settlement with David to her on-camera spending sprees, financial transparency has haunted her Bravo journey. This latest dispute only adds fuel to the fire. What's really at stake? Beyond the Bravo drama, there's a real legal question. Can public comments about gifts, become defamatory or misleading in court? John's legal team seems to think so. They argue that Shannon's insinuations damage his reputation as a businessman and depict him as frivolous. Shannon's camp, meanwhile, is pushing back that she never explicitly said John paid for her facelift. She merely joked about his generosity. In other words, the argument could come down to interpretation. Did Shannon's Bravo banter rise to the level of a factual claim? Or was it harmless reality TV shade? Shannon's next move. Shannon has yet to release a formal statement about John's filings, but sources close to her insist she feels hurt and blindsided that he would make her cosmetic choices part of a courtroom record. For Shannon, who has already endured public scrutiny over her DUI arrest and messy divorces, this feels like yet another invasion of privacy, though skeptics point out she's the one who brought it up on camera in the first place. Still, Shannon is determined not to let this define her comeback season. She's reportedly focusing on her daughters, her new business ventures, and keeping her head high despite the scrutiny. Whether she'll address John's claims head-on at the reunion remains to be seen, but few doubt Andy Cohen will make sure the facelift fiasco gets airtime. The bigger picture. At the end of the day, the facelift gifts dispute highlights a broader truth about the Real Housewives. Appearances matter as much as reality. Whether it's who pays for what, who said what at a party, or who owes whom an apology, these women live in a world where image and finances collide constantly. For Shannon, the challenge now is proving she can rise above the gossip and define herself beyond who funded her glow-up. For John, it's about protecting his reputation from Bravo's glare. And for viewers, it's just another deliciously messy subplot in the ever-unfolding saga of Orange County.